over 90% of golf coaches teach the ball position completely wrong. So if you've been taught to play a full wedge back of middle, or a driver off your left heel, or even worse, off your left big toe, then you must watch today's video because your ball position is going to be killing your golf swing. Instead, you need to incorporate a method called zonal ball positioning. Now, this method has been tried and tested on the European Tour, on the PGA Tour, so much so that this zonal system is essentially the same thing that Tiger Woods used. So what is zonal ball positioning? Well, zonal ball position means that we can position the ball anywhere in certain parameters and still hit functional shots. Now, as soon as we drift outside of that zone, then we're going to hit bad shots as our body is going to have to make compensations. Now, that is super logical, right? So let's see this zone as a rectangle. Now, this rectangle is the same no matter if you're using a wedge, an iron, a hybrid, or a 3-wood. The only club that's different is a driver. So what is this zone? The back part of the zone is the center of the chest, and the forward part is the lead armpit. You can position the ball, any shot that's hit off the ground or even a small tee, in that zone, and you will set yourself up to hit functional golf shots. If your ball is back at the center of the chest, which I see so many golfers do, you will not be in a functional position. So this now means on the way down, you're going to have to make some sort of compensation to hit this golf ball. What if you play the ball outside of your lead armpit? Your strike is going to be too shallow unless you have some big compensatory motion, which often is a slide or an over the top. So let's first talk if you're a newer golfer and you just want to hit the ball relatively consistent. If you say, right, I just want to position the ball anywhere in this zone, with any club besides driver, as long as you position it there, you are going to set yourself up to encourage good body movements and overall have a better swing. So a nice middle point of this zone is the logo on your left pec muscle. Aim for that and you'll be absolutely fine. Next up, let's talk about drawers versus faders. As a general rule, the more we play the ball towards the back part of this zone, the more likely we are to hit the ball earlier on in the arc, moving our path more in to out. This is going to help you set up to hit more of a draw shot. Versus if you move the ball to the forward part of this zone, you are naturally now going to hit the ball later on in the arc. This is going to create more of an out to in path and be better for you that like to fade the golf ball. Now, the next one we're going to talk about is to do with trajectory control. And this is where we're going to bring in a long iron versus a short iron. Now, if we think about the challenges we face with a shorter iron, often with a shorter iron, we want to make sure that we have it nice and penetrating because there's a lot of loft here. So one of the things that we will do is we will play that ball a little bit more back towards the center of the chest. This means now we are going to hit slightly more down on the ball, deliver a little bit more shaft lean, and that's going to produce a more penetrating ball flight. But with a longer iron, we often struggle to actually launch these high enough in the air. So what we're going to do with a longer iron is go, right, let's move this ball a little bit further forwards. So now we're going to have a slightly shallower strike. We're still going to hit down, but it gives us a little bit more time to release some loft. So then from there, we can hit this ball higher. So as a simple rule, the more the ball is back in the zone, it's going to be a lower trajectory. The more we move the ball forwards, the higher we're going to hit it. So you can use this to your advantage whilst playing in the wind. If you're hitting into the wind, play the ball towards the back part of the zone, like Tiger did with his 3-ball system. Or if you're hitting downwind and you got to land it soft, move the ball forwards. This is going to help you hit it higher. This is why ball position is a variable that we can use to our advantage. On a quick side note, if you're enjoying today's video, please give it a like and the channel a subscribe. Now let's talk about wedge shots. Now, this is one of the biggest issues I see in golf coaching. Golf coaches are preaching to play the ball back in the stance. Amateurs take this very literal and start to play it off their right foot. The issue with this is now outside of our zone, which remember is the same for every single club besides a driver. So we can never play a wedge shot with the ball back of the center of the chest. Now, why is playing the ball too far back going to harm you? Well, if I do this swing here and I have a good low point, I'm actually going to hit the top part of the ball. Because again, low point's roughly underneath my left shoulder. So now if I come back, my arc is too high. So I'm going to top it or thin it from this position. Now the body will often react to this. It'll be hanging back and scooping. This then makes the ball go high. You'll hit it fat, thin, and overall just inconsistent from this position. Now, the one thing I need to clarify is this is a fuller wedge shot, so anything from 40 yards and out, anything inside 40 yards is a completely different technique, and that's where the zone gets completely different there. We'll talk about that in another video. So if you want to hit better wedge shots, play the ball in the zone. Now, like we said earlier, if we want to hit a little bit of a lower trajectory, we're going to play the ball in the back part of the zone. So I think a great template for a wedge shot is to play the ball maybe at or just forwards of the sternum. This is still forwards in our stance, still forwards and middle, but it's far enough back to where we can still get a nice trajectory on it, but more importantly, get a great strike so we can hit some beautiful wedge shots just like this. And I think I've just hit the pole. Oh, just over. So don't fall for bad coaching. Get your ball position in that zone and you're gonna hit good shots. Now this one's a good one. What about fairway woods? So many golfers get this wrong. A fairway wood is exactly the same zone as an iron. And the reason for it is because any shot that we hit off the ground or off a small tee, we are still hitting down on the ball. This means we have to play it back of the left shoulder because that's often the lowest point of our swing. So that therefore puts us right back in that same zone. Now, if you're a golfer who balloons your fairway wood super high, play it more towards the back part of the zone. If you're a golfer who cannot get that fairway wood airborne, then guess what? Play it forwards towards the logo on your left pec muscle or even just inside the lead armpit. So for every single club in my bag right here, it is exactly the same zone. Now, obviously we're gonna move the ball position in that zone to our advantage for each individual club and what we're trying to do, but it's nice and simple. This is all the same, but this on the other hand, this is a different zone. So let's now dive into the zone for the driver. The zone for the driver is the back part is now the logo on your lead pec muscle, and the forward part is now the edge of your lead shoulder. Why is this zone changed? Think about the difference between every single club in our bag versus a driver. This is the only club in our bag that we're trying to hit up on it. Every other club, we hit down on it. And TrackMan, GC Quad, Flight Scope, they prove exactly the same thing. So because of that, we've got to move the zone forwards. But like anything, we've got to make sure that we're functional. Now, if you position the ball too far outside of your lead shoulder, you are now going to be hitting too up and too left on the ball. So often you'll see golfers top it or slice it or pull it from this position. So now they're often going to have a big old lunge towards the ball. They'll hit down on it as a byproduct, or they'll just hit these big old slices. It's horrible to see. Now you also get golfers who play the ball too far back. From here, they will hit down on the ball if they don't change anything. So often now they'll sort of back away from it to try and help it up. None of those are good options. So get the ball in the zone, don't use your feet, and you'll drive the ball better. I'm going to play the ball in the zone, and let's see where this ends up. I do not think I could have given you a better example than that. That's moved about a yard in the air, so that's relatively neutral. So here's the thing, is I know there's a lot of info in here, but this is supposed to free you up to go, look, it's a zone. So playing the ball in the middle of the stance, playing the ball off the left toe, it's useless advice. Now, if you're sick and tired of hearing this clickbait useless advice, then give me a follow. Now, if you need more one-to-one help with your game, you can get my services with online coaching on the Skillist platform. The link is down below.